morning, everyone. Welcome to today's panel discussion on unlocking potential corporate innovation and venture building. My name is Emilio Iglesias. I work at the CTI, the Spanish Innovation Agency, belonging to the Ministry of Science, Innovation and University, who provides
more things.
Okay. Who provides funding and venture capital for innovating companies in Spain. We are pleased to have a distinguished panel of experts today with us to explore new corporation how corporation can foster both internal and external innovation and entrepreneurial initiative to remain competitive and drive growth. In today's fast-moving business environment, the ability to innovate is not just an advantage, it's a necessity. Companies are increasingly looking for open innovation as a way to connect internal and external talent, take advantage of the new technologies, and create new sources of revenue. This panel will explore the practical strategies for developing new ventures, overcoming common challenges, and integrating this initiative with broader corporate innovative efforts. I would like to introduce the panel. First, Alfredo, Head of Corporate Venture of Talgo. Talgo is a leading company in designing, manufacturing, and maintaining high-speed tight trains with a worldwide presence. Alfredo, head of the founder of Talgo Inspire, Talgo's corporate venturing unit dedicated to working with startups. Miguel, managing partner at Ingenieris. Sorry, in English I can spell it.
That's good. I generally Ingenieris.
Okay. Venture building firm operating in Europe and Latam. They work with large organizations, designing, validating, and building new business opportunities, trying to turn innovation to the best value creation strategy for companies. Ana? Yes.
Yes.
Ana Falva, she is Vice President of Transformations at Mutua Madrileña. It's a cross-functional role in charge of pushing internal initiative and aim to generate substantial changes for the businesses. She's the main responsible for the Mutua Ventures, a unit that incubates and accelerates innovative projects born and raised in Mutua, as well as managing the corporate venture capital fund, which invests in the startup ecosystem. And finally, Cristina Fanjul, Director of Business Innovation Center Asturias, an incubator and accelerator of the region of Asturias. She leads initiatives to support innovative and technology-based entrepreneurship as businesses modeling or accelerating programs, and access to public and private finance. Very involved in European strategies as former president and current member of the board of the European Association of Businesses Innovation Centers. She is also vice president of ANSES. Well, we will try to begin with, you have here 4 persons working for different type of companies and entities with different experience and views on the open innovation arena. Say Asturias is more experience in programs for starting ups, companies. Ingenieris is a corporate venture builder, and Talgo and Mutua, large companies in the sector of the industry and the services. Well, the first question for you, as introduction, in order to explain your entity strategy in open innovation, I will ask to you 2 or 3 things. Can you each share your definition of corporate innovation? Which model are you using to perform this open innovation strategy? And if you can say, which is the difference or the role for the startups in this ecosystem for you?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, if I may. Well, we see innovation as a toolbox of different tools. Well, innovation today is undisputable, so no one's question if innovation is needed in the companies, especially in the large companies. So in our impression, we should be a function for the company to serve them, to look at the future and to improve, so they can answer next needs in the future, in the market itself, in the people, in the final user as well. So in our case, we have a balanced mix between the internal innovation, so it could be like regular R&D projects with the internal resources, mainly engineers in our case, since we are a very industrial company. And together with that, we have this open innovation area, that is the one I head, Talgo Inspire, that is probably the solution for solving not such related to the core problems, but looking at the future and also how we could improve our processes. So we have internal innovation for improving the immediate product, and together with the open innovation for improving the future of the product, and also how we could do our processes more efficiently.
Mm-hmm. Well, here in Generis, what we believe is that innovation is the best lever for companies to grow and differentiate in the midterm. Plain and simple. And you really need to believe that. I mean, innovation is not for the first 2 quarters of your company, it's not in 10 years span, but it's the best strategy and the best tool, strategic tool to grow and differentiate for the next 2 to 3 years and expand your core, okay? So not beyond the core, doing fancy things that have nothing to do with your company, but expanding the core of your operations. And one of the subset of tools that you have is venture building, which, by the way, is a fancy name that we are using today for things that have been invented for decades, which is new businesses, new business development, new services, or you can call it what you want, but at the end of the day, there's an opportunity, there's something that you really need to tackle for your company, for the sake of your future, and it could be something such as, I need to grow 15% of your top line, we really need to expand in the value chain into a new step, or we need to tackle the younger generations where we are not doing anything. And for that, if no one is doing that, if there's not an interesting startup that we can invest in, then you need to do it for the sake of your company, your organization, and society. And that's why we really believe that venture building is a really interesting strategy that companies should at least consider.
Okay. So Mutua has always been very committed to innovation, actually. And although it may seem like a very traditional company, the reality is that, for example, we are sponsors of the South Summit since the very beginning. Actually, at that point, the first South Summit was actually called Spain Startup. It was celebrated in the Mutua Hall back in 2012. So with that, I mean that the innovation culture spirit is very embedded in our DNA. Having said that, the strategies that we follow at the present to foster innovation within the company is concentrated in our team, in the innovation team, the Mutua Ventures teams. And there we have two sides. First, we have a team that is the venture incubator, the venture building team that follows, that it's mainly focused on developing internal projects that come from ideas and business challenges that we have within the different business units. We organize a competition within the employees, and these teams have developed a solution for that business challenge throughout the year. Together with collaboration with universities and so on, they create a solution, and the winner of that competition, for example, is a project that is committed to be developed internally in the following years. No? So that's one strategy where for the development, we collaborate with external companies. We have tech companies that help us put that into place and put that into the market as soon as possible. And the other side, where we also work in innovation, it's the Mutua Ventures Fund. This fund is a 30 million fund that we have to invest directly in startups. These startups are selected because of the strategic fit with our businesses. There we look for synergies so that these startups can accelerate our growth. They have they are focused in a specific strategic line for us. They have a very qualified team, and we want to both work together so that we can grow that company and they can also accelerate our business and help us solve some of our problems. So I would say that's the way we understand innovation and we work nowadays in the venture building.
Okay, thank you.
Finally, I would like to bring another different point, another different approach for the conversation, because I have a different profile from my fellow colleagues. I work in a center belonging to the public sector. I work in a kind of incubator, an accelerator, but it's also true that entrepreneurship is a fuel for innovation, and innovation is absolutely linked with the regional development. So I would like to bring to the conversation this point of regional development, of innovation and business innovation. Because when you work for the ecosystem, when you work for the orchestrator, the fact of such type of initiatives, going beyond even each individual strategy of every corporate who has different model, depending on their mission, depending on whatever, if you have a role of orchestration of the ecosystem, it's very important that the different generation of business talk to each other. So the gap in between is making shorter, because this is good. This is good for everybody. They have different missions in perspective. They would like to bring, for example, the new generation of products or services. They have some other indicators, KPIs, to bring for the open innovation, but the reality is in the general and the whole approach, this type of initiatives always are linked to better competitiveness of the regions. So this is why it's so important, whether you have a venture client, whether you have a venture corporate or whatever, this is so important for the regional development. So I think as orchestrators, because we always work in coordination with the Regional Ministry of Science and the group of entities who work for the regional promotion, we are also developing some initiatives, concrete initiatives, in order for some corporates who don't have this fuel for have an individual program, just can also link to some other regional initiatives on open innovation. And here we have a lot of types. We have labs, we have digital innovation hubs, we have some other initiatives who really uses this approach of open innovation for increase the level of innovation.
Thank you very much, and I will ask to you, it's an open question for everyone. What are the strategies for venture building? Which are the key elements of a successful venture building strategy? And also, what are the common obstacles for developing that?
Well, I
Anyone.
can speak on my perspective. I mean, I'll just provide a few tips, okay? So first of all, I believe that you need to set clear goals. And the shorter the list, the better. Because sometimes, I don't know how many innovators we have in the room, but you get demands from the C-level that innovators are going to bring the new businesses, then the new differentiation, then you are going to change the culture, then you are going to pretend to be super cool. It's like, the shorter the list, the better. We are going to bring this new adventure, and this is going to be for in the commonality of this strategy is going towards this new duel that we are going to drill. Okay, so that first of all, clarity. Second, talent. If you don't have talent and you don't put talent in that, nothing is going to happen, and I believe that we all share that. Third, you need to be aware magic tricks. Okay, so innovation is about like sweating and effort. It's not about like magic tricks. So you also need to understand as a corporate that you need to put things on the table. You need to put your core competences, you need to put some processes, you need to put money on the table. Because if you pretend, if you aim to get like 1 billion revenues, putting like 1 million on the table, that's never going to happen, okay? That's magic. So if you put your empty hand in the magic hat, you're not going to get the rabbit, okay? That's, in general, is not happening. And fourth, you need to embrace risk. I mean, and the potential failure that might happen. Because if you're innovating, there's always a percentage of risk that you need to understand it's real. Because if not, you are not innovating. And sometimes we pretend to diminish that risk and to say, no, everything is under control. No, everything is not under control, but it's worth the effort in terms of what we are going to get in return.
Yeah. Well, if I might add, well, given we are a bit in the first step of the ladder of venture building, but we are exploring it, your words were very clarifying. I think, first of all, you need a real strategic support from the C-level, top level of the company, because you can use other innovation tools, but this one probably demands even more connection with the top level, because it should be a very transformational trip through the company. So first of all, if you don't have this back from the top level, it doesn't make sense to go on, I may say. And then you really need to explore your company next vision. You need to explore what the company wants to be when it grows older and wants to be in 10 years far away. And this is a difficult question probably for the company, but you really need to solve it before going on.
Okay. You would like to touch
I think it's similar, no? But in our case, I agree first, the commitment is very important from the C-level. And as an example, we've been through a learning process, no? When I was explaining this competition, we celebrate with our employees. In the past, we had that more for cultural purposes, to engage with the employees and to create this culture of innovation. But it really made a change when there was the commitment of developing the winning project. No? That's really something that makes a change, and there's not only an idea or something that you work with the employees, but you really put or you show to the corporation that you are committed to changing things in the company, to testing new business models and dedicating resources and economical and human resources to that. So that's one thing. And the other, in the venture building, also having some clear objectives. No? When we invest in the company, in a startup, we are convinced that it's important to have clear objectives or a clear plan of what we expect from that investment, because that's the only way you can track and decide if it's been successful. It's not only a financial return. We always look also for a collaborative program with that company, so that we know there's risk in this world. Of course, we're investing in very early stage companies, but at least if we have a plan that we are going to collaborate with that company and we are going to have some strategies on programs together that give us some comfort, that's a good decision.
Everything depends on the strategy. I mean, open innovation or every program of venture building is depending on the strategy, on the mission you would like to achieve. So it's a process, and the process, what is important is the outcome, what is important is the result. So whatever is your mission, whatever is your perspective, what is important is to be reliable and decide at what level of innovation are you going to bring, and deciding what level of interaction you would like to have. What is important is not create frustration. And I also belong to this part of the startup community, which is absolutely overwhelmed for this kind of programs and a lot of call for proposals, acceleration programs. And believe me that sometimes it creates a lot of frustration. Because if you want to be cool, which is okay, you want to be cool and you don't promise what you don't are going to achieve. And it's okay, because maybe your objective is to have talent to in the short or even in the long-term vision, Or, for example, let me give you an example. I work for a region where the industrial weight on the gross added value is very high. We are an industrial region. So as a government, we would like to keep this level of leadership in industrial. And one of the things we have made to really find our mission is to make this interaction that the startup community has the industrial, the manufacturing, the raw material transformation and everything which is linked to the manufacturing as an objective for these services and products. Then we have this mission to keep the industrial leadership for the part of the corporates who are not very familiar, with the startup community and the way of acting, but they really benefit from the flexibility, the technology-based focus, and the talent that the startups put into this kind of project. So what is really important is the strategy and be reliable to this strategy.
Thanks. Well, I have another question, but I think you have answered more or less. That is the journey to the open innovation process, but in relation with the startup ecosystem. More or less you have talked about that, no?
Yeah.
The importance of the startup within the ecosystem also for large companies. Okay. Well, maybe this is more interesting. Could you tell us to explain some success story about your activity? Could be very interesting for us to know.
Okay. Well, if I may, I have a couple of probably three milestones that could be nice to know. Well, we have developed, for example, a new product for the train, solving a need that was not answered by the market. Probably this true open innovation is not a proper venture-client model because we co-developed with a German startup a product that could help any passenger with disability, that is blind indeed, to get to his seat or her seat. So that was made through open innovation with an startup. And also, in terms of more related with process, we have developed, we have bring to the company a new tool that could reduce 40% the expenses on certain processes in the company. That's, well, it's not happening that every time, but it's a good way of proving that corporate venturing, venture client, whatever you can call it, works and gives value and return to the company.
Well, I will go quick. So we've been working, and we are working with a very large energy company that they wanted to go into a new business in decarbonization. So I think interesting thing here is that instead of building everything from scratch, what we did is like, okay, let's go out there to see if there's a startup that we can work and collaborate. We ended up collaborating with them, so kind of like an open innovation approach, and we ended up developing a new service which was white labeled by the startup. Then on top of that, we started working, and the company was the first client, so we did like venture client with that, and so they proved the service, and they were like super happy with that. And finally, now that the business is working and it is growing, the venture capital arm of the company is going to invest in the company to try to kind of close the loop. So I really believe, because sometimes in an organization you have like the venture client guy, the open innovation guy, the venture building guy, and I believe that it was very interesting to like work cross towards a unique goal.
Mm-hmm.
So I will give also a couple of examples, one more in our venture building type of strategy and one on the venture capital investment type. So 2 examples. The first one is Mutua Home, which is a platform that we created. You can also, the commercial minute, you can also visit our stand. We are promoting Mutua Home, which is, as I said, a platform, a marketplace where we connect is for the open market, not only for the Mutua customers, but for anyone who is looking for a home repair service, for a painter, for also refurbishments or decoration. And this project is one of the winners, as I was telling before, of our internal innovation program. No? So this one was incubated internally, all the market research was done by our employees, and then later when it won and it was tested and more understood, we are collaborating with tech companies, with Fusuma, also to develop these services. In just a few months, in the last 6 months, we are already We have over 600 requests. We have integrated with almost 10 providers, no? And this has been done combining the collaboration between our teams, internal teams, and the external providers. So that's one, and the other commercial minute for me is Mutua Más, which it's more related to our venture capital type of strategy. Mutua Más is our new super app. It responds to our ambition to have more touch points and more digital relation with our customer. And there, what we did is it was more built through acquisitions or participations in other startups, in other technological companies. We are integrating in Mutua Más is, as I said, a super app that not only allows you to manage your insurance, your auto insurance, to put a claim, to open a claim, but also to have other broader services that we provide in the mobility vertical, in the home vertical, and we want to expand to more. And there, for those other services, what we are doing is through collaboration, through investments that we have, we acquired El Parking some years ago. So we have, through that, been able to incorporate in this super app the services that are provided in the El Parking. No? So you can book off-street parking, you can put the ticket for the on-street parking, you can pay the toll. So all that is integrated, and it was thanks to all the talent and all the learnings we have through the acquisition of El Parking. We also have a participation in Cabify. So thanks to the participation in Cabify, we also are able to integrate Cabifys in this super app. No? More and more, we're integrating more services, and it's thanks to all these strategies. So.
I would like to bring two different examples of success stories in different levels. For example, as a region, I mentioned before our mission to really keep the industrial leadership, as you know, one of the key points of the region. So we created an open innovation program based on industrial challenges for those people. And I think this is spectacular because sometimes those kind of corporations don't have an internal department of open innovation, etc. So through the challenges, depending on the wider is the challenge, the wider you have the scouting, but sometimes this is the power and this is a key point for attract talent to the region. And we had some examples of people coming to Asturias and starting Asturias because of this level of interaction with the corporation. This is a really important success story. And as a national association, we have a different program, which is an open innovation program. Every year we bring into the initiative 10 different corporates with absolutely different level of innovation. But as we are a national association, we have different points in different regions, so we start conversation between different territories. So what is the probability that one corporate from, I don't know, Andalusia is going to have this conversation with a Galician or an Asturias company? We are then as an interface for creating this type of challenges, and every contract which is signed under this program is always a success story.
Well, thanks. I think I would like to ask you another question, but we are short of time. So just to conclude, thank you very much. We have today explored different approaches of corporate innovation and venture building with different approaches with the startups ecosystem. I would like to thank all of you, the panelists, for their significant contribution, and all of you for joining us. Thank you very much. We hope you have this panel have interested you. We can talk later if you like. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.